Twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so busking in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land under the frame? You're the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in name, the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save, this land of the brave, the US of A.
Welcome, race fans, boys and girls, men and women, to the Domino's TYJ Racing Top Shelf Cup Series live on All-Pro Broadcasting for the United States Postal Service 200 here at Martinsville in Martinsville, Virginia. Welcoming me in the booth tonight is a good long-time friend, great racer, and very talented radio voice, Ray Richer. How you doing tonight, Ray?
I wouldn't go exactly that far out, but I'm doing pretty good. Thank you very much. We're in for 200 laps of great, aggressive, patient racing. A lot of bottom feeders this evening. Should be a fun time to watch.
Yes, Ray, we had a race here last night in the Denny Fender trucks. That went very, very fun and very exciting. We had our Xfinity race last Thursday night, so it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. I do want to mention our top 10 in standings. A lot of you fans are watching, so we appreciate that. Go over this real quick. For the Top Shelf Cup Series here on Domino's TYJ Racing, top 10 standings are number 1, Ryan Hill. He has 152 points. Tanner Talrico is in second at 142. Mitchell Riggs is in third. Jason Jacoby is in fourth. Curtis Young is in fifth. Dave Washington is in sixth. He has 2 wins. Tim Cox is in seventh. Jack Watts is in eighth. James Ross is ninth. And Nick Reynolds is in 10th. The only other person with a win in the top 10 is Tanner Talrico. So those, as well as Damon Gilbert, who is all the way back in 16th in points, he has a win. Those guys have already locked themselves into the chase later in this year, but did want to let you know that that's the top 10 in standings, and that's probably going to get shaken up tonight. What do you think, Ray?
I think we're in for a great time, great race. One thing between last night and tonight. Last night, you had a bunch of trucks. Low bus horsepower, about 200 horsepower less, a lot lighter, a couple hundred pounds. Now you've got these heavy cars with heavy brakes, 900 horsepower going into the corners as well as 100-plus miles an hour. The thing is, you've got to be patient. These guys that are in front of you have different braking points. You've got to learn them as you go, even though you're passing multiple cars along the way. A lot of guys will try to brake a little bit early to take and enter the corner as tight as they can, keep it to the bottom, ride that yellow line, and then just cruise it right out to the wall. The thing is, the minute they go in and they hit the brake a little too hard or the tires are worn in front, they're going to go up the track, where the guy behind is going to take advantage of that and was going to make it exciting passing for racing tonight. Bottom feeding, and again, aggressive patience is the way I'm going to call it this evening. It is Martinsville. It is 200 laps. It'll be exciting.
Thanks, Ray. We love your perspective. We're very happy you're in the booth here tonight with us. As far as qualifying goes, we do have a couple of excellent drivers right now at the top of the board. We have Dylan C. Jones. He's first with an 18.377. Jason Jacoby, who'll be driving that Domino-sponsored car tonight, is second with an 18.410. These guys in qualifying are probably not going to be separated by probably no more than a half a second, if that much, through the top 20. Wouldn't you agree, Ray?
I highly agree. The track does change, obviously, between practice and qualifying. Like, for example, we had our first on top of the board during practice, which was Colin Bowden at 18.4. Right now, we're still awaiting his qualifying lap. He may even start in the back, which some guys do. They basically don't take a qualifying lap, and when they do, they kind of watch for a few wrecks to pan out, which will probably happen this evening. It's very highly we'll get 200 green flag laps, highly doubtful, excuse me. But on the same note, it is smart to stay in the back, but sometimes not, especially if a crash happens mid-pack and you can't slow down in time. Like example right now on the top of the qualifying, like you said, Dylan C. Jones at 18.377. During practice, only 12 fastest at 18.619. Being the track tightens up a little bit, you kind of can go a little bit harder during qualifying to get to that track. My suggestion, get up front as far as possible and stay there.
Welcome in the booth real quick is Ryan Hill. You looks like you qualified second so far. What do you feel about your car tonight, Ryan, and getting a win?
Oh, well, you know what? It's good to be back home, to be honest with you. Martinsville's a little bit away from us. I don't know, qualifying second, me and Dylan Jones have done really good starting 1-2. I just hope that we can get on the inside and hopefully come off with a win after 200 laps.
Thank you, Ryan. We'll move you back. Congratulations and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Good luck, Ryan.
Yes, looks like we've got less than a minute left. So another thing I did want to mention, this is the United States Postal Service 200. The United States Postal Service delivering more Amazon Prime packages on Sunday than all U.S. shippers combined. One other thing, we are doing our free pizza giveaway tonight, Ray. Basically, if you text 919-883-7497 fans, the first fan to accurately predict the winner of this race before halfway, which is lap 100, you can also do that in the voice the live chat if you're watching on one of your devices on YouTube. The first person to get that accurately will win a free large 3-topping Domino's pizza carryout only from any store in the United States of America, your hometown store.
I'm just wondering where I fit in. Can I get part of that pizza there, Robert, if I guessed the right winner of the night?
Unfortunately, employees of Domino's Pizza and members of any of our 3 racing series underneath the Domino's TYJ Racing umbrella are disqualified from this promotion, unfortunately. However, their family and friends can win, so make sure you're watching.
It was worth a shot. Either way, good luck out there, everybody. Good luck out to guessing the right guy by lap 11, and we'll be starting with our lineup here shortly.
Yes, sir. I'm going to go through the first 10, 15, and then I'm going to let you pick up. Starting first, we do have Dylan C. Jones in that 03. He's on the pole position. Out on his outside right, we have Ryan A. Hill in second in the 55. Starting third, we have Jason Jacoby. He is in that 1 machine, starting third. Outside of him will be David Washington. James Lehman in the 01 will be starting 5th. Ryan Matthews will be starting 6th in the 51. Kyle Kammer in the 88 will be starting 7th. Starting 8th tonight, we have Tim B. Cox in the 19. Starting 9th, Eric Stanford in the 24. And rounding out your top 10, we have Jeff T. Martin in the 014 starting 10th. 11th, we have Nick Crawford in the 74. Cal Charpentier is starting 12th in the 003. 011 vehicle is William Davis starting 13th. Starting 14th, we have Mitchell Reeves, a very talented driver, in the 02. Curtis Young in the 94 will be starting 15th. 16th will be Doug Roth in the 43. 17th, Gary Sexton. Almost won the race last night. The trucks will be starting 17th. 18th will be Tanner Talrico in the 42 machine. Nick Reynolds will be starting 19th in the 10. And Brandon Cruz Monsivice will be starting 20th in the 54.
From 21st on back, 56 of Josh Bonwell. T. Abrams in 22nd. The 32 of Dustin Lee will be starting 23rd. 11 of Buzz Moore in the 24th spot. Jeffrey Ford, 95, in the 25th spot. 26, Justin Faulkner in the number 5. Colin Bowden in the 27th. Raymond Reitenhauer, the 2nd, in the number 87, will be starting 28th. 29th will be Jack Watts in the 66. Mike Franklin will start in the 30th spot in the 82.
Thank you, Ray. And as the pace car pulls off, we're going to have 2 real quick pace laps here before we go green, Ray. It's definitely going to be... Go ahead.
My apologies, Robert. I did miss a couple drivers here. It looks like in the 32nd and 33rd spot, we have Brian Coots in the 04 and Jeremy Crandall in the 73. They did not qualify from 27th position on down, starting in the back. Maybe a smart move in the long run. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no problem at all. No problem, Ray. And it is Colin Bowden. We know we got a lot of difficult names, and you're doing a great job, Ray.
Appreciate it. We'll correct as we go along. Appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir. As the pace car is completing that first lap, it will dive in here into pit road, and Graham will let you take us. Actually, go around this corner. I'm going to let you take the restart or the start of this race with the 03 of Dylan C. Jones. They're just creeping down the backstretch. About 45 miles an hour is the pace car speed, and it will be very interesting to see how this start gets going, Ray. I'll let you take it.
Turn 3, pace car, lights are off, poles off the track. It is a start, not a restart. Green flag in the air. Jones with an early lead into turn 1. Ryan Hill to the outside, gets to the left rear fender, slowly goes down in front of the 1 of Jason Jacoby. They come flying down the backstretch. Jacoby to the inside, trying to get to turn 3 on the outside. David Washington takes advantage and passes him to third. Gets a hit from him out of turn 3 and heads himself to the wall. Caution is out.
Yes, we'll get that replay pulled up here in just a minute. These first laps, these tires are cold. They don't have any much air in them at all. They start these tires about as low as they can because they know the heat buildup in these tires is going to build up to proper, appropriate pressure, and that will definitely happen. Looks like Jason Jacoby in the 1. David Washington was trying to make the move on the outside, and Jason Jacoby just barely got up and tagged him. We mentioned this, saw this last night, Ray. With these vehicles in the corner, they have such little traction to begin with. All it takes is a little touch, and the car will go around.
Pretty simple explanation, Robert. What you have is you have cold tires. When they run this low, basically the tire is flat as can be. They want to bring them up to temperature, and it expands the air inside the tire and basically bulges the tire out to lay more rubber down on the track. Until then, the tires are very, very flexible, which means the sidewall actually hits the track just for a short period of time. So when you go into a corner, you don't have the full bottom of the rubber of the tire touching the track. More a little bit of the sidewall, but when the pressure comes up, obviously there's a little bit of a science to this, and you get a nice even plane across the bottom of the tire, and everybody gets a little more traction. It takes a couple laps for that to happen, depends on heat, humidity, what's the track all about, rubber laid down and such, but they have to be patient. This is where that patient-aggressive I was talking comes in. If you're patient, you can follow the guy around, but you must be aggressive, and you're not going to win it in the first couple laps. That's kind of a given to most races. In this one, I'm exacerbating it a little bit because of the fact that you just got to be patient. You got to be on the throttle, you got to be on the brake, and just at the right times. Basically, if you don't, you start skidding, you have issues. Again, here what we have with Mr. Washington, unfortunately, has an incident right off the bat.
Yes, sir, Ray, that's going to happen. Hopefully these drivers will settle down. So I did want to mention real quick, in those first 3 laps, we did have Kyle Charpentier started 12th, moved all the way up to 8th already. We're going to have a lot of comers and goers. William Davis started 13th, he's up to 10th. A few drivers, Brandon Cruz Monsivais started 20th, he's up to 15th. So these guys will get lined up 2 by 2 again for the next restart. And some will be gaining positions and some will be losing positions.
That's the other thing, too. When it comes to a wreck, basically coming from the back, if you can get past that wreck, especially before the caution happens, you'll actually gain a couple positions, and that's what happened to these guys. Obviously, we're only, lap 6 into this whole 200-lap race. Exciting so far, but we've got to get some green flag laps laid down.
Yes, another thing I was going to ask you, Ray, you've driven on this track quite a bit in these cars. Like last night in the truck, these cars will probably be able to do the whole race on 2 full tanks of fuel. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I believe they've got 22-gallon cells in them, maybe a little bit shorter. That's one thing I honestly did not check. But I'm pretty sure, like the trucks last night, in all honesty, you could probably make it in, 1 pit stop, maybe 2. You'd be stretching it. It does look like we're on 1 to go. Pace car lights are off. We're doubling them up.
Yes, and the pace car pulls in. Go ahead, Ray. I'll let you take the start again.
Absolutely. Now the leader has discretion to leave anytime the pace car is in. He does. Off we go. Green flag's in the air. Oh, the 03, too hard in the gas and spins over the tires and spins himself out to the inside wall.
We saw that on the first or second lap last night in the trucks. This exact same thing happened. These tires get just a little bit of debris on them. You hit the gas wide open in second gear, especially on these cup cars with the 900 horsepower you're talking about. You will spin it right around. That's exactly what happened to Dylan C. Jones as we get the replay pulled up. Leading the race, got excited, didn't clean the tires off very well. He got a good launch, and as soon as he came off that concrete or onto the asphalt, the back end kicked out. He went all the way around. Just minor damage. I think he'll be able to continue, but he's lost a lot of positions here as he does come down pit road.
Yeah, I got a little bit of nose damage on the 03 there of Jacoby. Little right rear damage from what I'm seeing from here. He's going to have to get that checked out by his pit crew. With that nose damage, he could actually overheat the motor pretty quick and pop during the race, so he's definitely got to get that checked out. What he's talking about with debris on the tires, when they heat up, you get a little bit of ball rubber because that's what happens with these. They take and wear down, the balls go up the track, and the tires start to pick them up. Lose traction right off the bat, in a couple laps, you kind of wear them off, and you get your traction back. So a little bit less patient this time, and unfortunately, this is what happens.
Thanks a lot, Ray. A lot of people call those marbles on the track. We have had a lot of practice here before this race started tonight, so the track does have marbles on it, and those get on the tires just like you said, Ray. I agree 100% exactly. That's what will happen. These drivers are going to have to be careful on the restarts, especially starting going now.
Looks like a little luck on James Liam's side. He started 5th. He's up to 2nd already behind Ryan A. Hill in the 55. Ryan is our outside starter on the front line. He's able to hold that position for quite a while. Looks like we're going to go around here a couple more times under caution until things kind of get cleaned up. It does give time for Jacoby to come back on the track. At this time, he is still on a lead lap from what I'm seeing from here.
Yes, Ray. Real quick, I'm going to talk about Ryan Hill. He is the new leader. We talked about him with him just a minute in your interview. He is driving that 55 Phantom Armament Chevy SS tonight. That's a great looking paint job on his car. Hopefully we'll have time tonight where we can go through the whole field tonight. talk about their paint schemes. He also has DBR in the back. That's a great organization. We remember that young man from a little bit over a year ago. Lost his life unexpectedly, but all of us are remembering him every time we see the DBR logo.
Very tragic loss indeed. I will say with Ryan Hill's car, there is a little bit of damage on the rear. I'm going to believe that they probably won't get a car out of here with little, if any, damage by the end of the night. Again, these guys have got to get some green flag laps in side by side to get used to each other, and unfortunately that hasn't happened yet. We're hopefully going to see that shortly.
Yeah, it's kind of like last night. You're probably going to see every one of these cars, with the exception of a handful, have damage either the right front fender, left front fender, definitely on the back bumper, the front nose. But again, the aerodynamics on these cars at this track are not crucial or critical. You definitely want to make sure you got your radiator intact, your oil cooler intact, and your engine intact. But as far as a little bit of damage, it's not going to hurt you too much.
Yeah, a little downforce isn't going to hurt you if you lose it just a bit. On the same note, going into the corners, you still want that downforce to turn the car. Looks like we're going to double up this a little, like you're still on. Correction, caution lights are off. It looks like we're going to go green this time down the back stretch side by side. The 01 Leham and the 55 at Hill will let them go around turn 4. The 55 has discretion here. Once the pace car pulls off, he can pull off any second. Right now, he can leave the field, and everybody goes green.
And as we speak, he's waiting until he gets towards the end of the corner, and he takes off now. Looks like we have a much cleaner restart as the 55 across the start-finish line in first position, and Jason Jacoby will fill that gap on the inside to move into second, as he's getting a good run coming off the corner behind Ryan Hill, although Ryan has a great launch, and he stretches out by a couple of car lengths.
Jacoby on the inside, Laneham's on the outside for second place. They're going down the front chute. Jacoby with the advantage, about a half a car length going into one. Behind the leader by 2 lengths, the opening opens up for the 01s and Leham, and he falls into third position going down the backstretch.
That is true. Behind him, we do have the 51 of Ryan Matthews. He's moved up pretty well so far in the race. He's driving that 51. Looks like he started back in 6th position, so he's gained 2 spots already. Behind him, we have, looks like Eric Stanford started 9th in that 24 Pepsi. He's up to 5th position. Kyle Charpentier, like we said, started 12th. He's all the way up to 6th position.
The 55 of Ryan Hill had a heck of a jump at the beginning. Of course, that's an advantage when you're the leader, especially starting these races. He's got at least 3 car lengths on the second place of Jason Jacoby. He's got a nice line down, doesn't seem to be losing any ground, doesn't seem to be gaining. Jacoby gaining just a hair off the back of the 01 of James Lehan. Right behind him, Ryan Matthews, right in line down the back chute, now into 3. 01 James Lehan up the track. A couple guys get by him, apparently oversteered it coming into 3. With him, it'll settle back in 4th place position.
Yes, if you stay green, you gather that back up. Very good piece of driving by James Lehman in that 01. A little further back where I was looking for a battle, we had it a little while ago, as the 014 looks at the inside of the 88 of Kyle Cameron. Looks like that would be William Davis, in the 011. Looks like he's going to make that pass on Kyle Cameron, who is stuck on the outside in that 88 Interstate Battery Chevy SS. And to the inside, we have Tano Talrico in the 42. He's taking a look on the inside as well.
Freight trained is an understatement here at Martinsville. You get caught on the outside and you can't keep your line down, you're going to get freight trained, and they will pass you pretty quickly. The inside is definitely the chosen line. The 88 falls back into line. Kyle Cameron looks like he will be in the 12th spot. He's got plenty of room to move around behind the 42. While we look back up front, the 55 of Ryan Hill, who now has about 6 car lengths to the cars behind him. The battle behind him, the 50. Hughes around Jason Jacoby. Takes the 2nd spot and try to take and run down Ryan Hill.
Yes, and James Lehman is on the inside. Looks like Jason Jacoby in the 1 Domino's sponsored car got moved up just a little bit. He's losing a couple of positions, although he falls back in line now.
Behind 5, Ryan Matthews in the 51, Jason Jacoby. Now making a little leeway between him and James, James Lehan is ahead of Jason Jacoby, looking to make a little headway on 3rd spot to 4th. Looks like 2 car lengths back. Again, Hill with a nice lead. Everything seems to be smoothing out fine. A few passes going on here.
Yes, we have the 02 of Mitchell Reeves in the Southeast Motorsports Chevy SS. He made a move on the inside of Kyle Charpentier, and now Kyle is up on the outside groove right now. It looks like he's getting past. Looks like the 43. That would be Doug Roth. He makes that pass cleanly on the inside.
Yeah,
and that moves Doug up to 8th. Go ahead.
Going into the 003, it looked like he almost tried to block the 43, but it couldn't do it. The 43 was there long before him, went up the track, and got the pass nice and clean.
Good. Looks like we had a spin. We're staying green. Looks like the 56. I'm going to review this myself. You keep an eye on the leaders there, Ray.
As of right now, Ryan Matthews in the 51 is taking a chase down Ryan Hill in the 55. He's got about 2 car lengths back behind him. Going into turn 3, he gains a little bit right on his bumper right now in his tire tracks, trying for the inside to start-finish line. He's got a half a car length on him. Door-to-door down to 1. He makes the pass nice and clean. 55 rolls back into second place, Ryan Hill. 51, now your new leader, actually gaining some spots on him, about 2 car lengths ahead. Behind him, James Lehan in the 01, back to the 1 of Jason Jacoby, who now has about 5 car lengths between 3rd and 4th. To the inside, the 01 goes to the 55. 55 again to the outside. 01 of James Lehan takes 2nd. Ryan Hill falls back into 3rd. Back in line he goes. He still's got an advantage to the guy in 4th. Jason Jacoby in the 1.
Thank you, Ray. Yes. It looks like the 11 of Buzz Moore got loose. He got a little love tap, they call it, from the 20 of Colin Bowden. Spun him around. The 56 had nowhere to go. It looks like the 56 and the 11 has heavy damage and will be on pit road for quite a while, unfortunately. But we stayed green. I just want to give the fans an update on those 2 drivers.
One thing that'll happen here a little shove and move. Basically, through, don't have horns, but we got bumpers, basically. In 4th and 5th, you have Jason Jacoby and Eric Stanford. Eric Stanford trying to make a move to the inside a couple times around the track. Going into 3, it looks like he's going inside again, but again, the 1 blocks him with the same line. Right on Eric Stanford's rear end is Mitchell Reeves' 02 car. All of them right in line, still trying to get back up to the lead cars.
Yes, I'm sure you covered it just now, but the 51 smartly moved into the lead. That is Ryan Matthews. He won one of the races we had in the fall in our Dash for Cash series at Daytona. He's a young driver who is running a lot fast. He actually drives and races go-karts in his real life and has a lot of success there. It's good to see Ryan Matthews leading this race.
Kind of looking at some damage to the 01. Must have happened earlier. His left front fender's kind of up in the air just a hair. But he seems to be chasing down the Ryan Matthews 51 machine. Now, with this being said, we talked earlier, damage doesn't seem to be a big factor here. And I'll tell you, he's doing a fantastic job getting in 2nd place and trying to get to that 51.
Yes, the 51 of Ryan Matthews. He is driving that S&M Auto Service Ford Fusion tonight. That's a great-looking paint job. Behind him, I'm kind of taking us through the field real quick. We got James Lehman has moved up to 2nd position in that 01. Looks like he's in that Chips Ahoy Chevy SS. 3rd place, Ryan A. Hill has moved back he was leading quite a few laps earlier. We already talked about him. He's in that Phantom Armament Chevy SS, the number 55. Jason Jacoby, he is in that Domino's-sponsored Chevy SS. He is in the number 1 machine. He is in 4th position now, having a pretty clean race so far. Eric Stanford, you mentioned him. He's in that 24. He's all the way back in 5th position, but he's having a good run. And that would be the esbilliards.com Chevy SS. Great looking sponsor on his car tonight. Mitchell Reeves, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I kind of like that faded paint job. He's got a 24 on the hood. He seems to be right in the tracks of that 1 Jacoby every single lap. Haven't seen a love tap from him yet, but I'm still waiting for that to happen. Of course, again, being patient. We're only on lap 36. Plenty of racing to go. You've got to be patient here, but again, aggressive. You've got to stay up for the line.
Yes, sir, Ray. Thank you very much. In 6th, we have Mitchell Reeves in that 02. Over the top paint job for the Southeast Motorsport Chevy SS. He's having a good run. Doug Roth, we mentioned him before. He is in that 43 Ford. And then Kyle Charpentier, he made a lot of headway early on from 12th up to 6th. Now he's fallen back into 8th. He's in that Pandora Ford, that 003. Tanner Talrico is in that Happy St. Patrick's Day Fox Chevy SS 42. He's in 9th position. And in 10th, we have Jeff T. Martin in that atopgamers.com Chevy SS. He also is sporting some Domino's TYJ Racing logo on the trunk deck of his car. William Davis Ford has the fourth has a little damage in the 11. He's running in position 11. He's in that cross-continent racing Chevy SS. Colin Bowden, mentioned him before. He's in that Brockwell Strong DBR number 20. He is running in 12th. Curtis Young, I haven't talked a lot about him. He's in that Dive Bomb Motorsports Ford Fusion in the 94 purple paint scheme. He is up to 13th. Gary Sexton is another cross-continent racing driver. Those are teammates. He's in the 17 Chevy SS. He is up to 14th. Rounding out your top 15, haven't mentioned this driver at all. He's in the Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff Chevy SS. That would be Justin Faulkner. He is our champion from 2016, our first season in the Cup car. He is in 15th right now. Looks like he started in 26, so he's definitely moved up quite a bit tonight. Go ahead, Ray.
Now on the lead lap, basically putting Jeremy Crandall the next car lap down. That was the 23rd car. The 51 is basically going through the field and trying to get around a lot of these lap cars with these green flag runs on these half-mile tracks. You're going to have that. I mean, a lot of guys have different braking positions, and of course, the 01 is getting around him too. He's not far behind. He's only a half a second behind the leader, Brian Matthews.
Thank you, Ray, and I wanted to make all our fans know we do have our special guest, Gabriel Wood, joining us now in the booth. Gabe, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Got a little lost on the way to the racetrack, but I'm here now and getting ready to commentate. We got some good battles on the racetrack. Justin Faulkner going after Curtis Young in that number 5 machine. Hooters number 5 gets to the inside of him in turn number 3 and gets around him for that 13th spot.
Yes, Ray, I'm going to let you and Gabe kind of take over here. I'll break him when we go to commercial when we have a caution here in a little while, but you guys go ahead and take it away, Ray.
We appreciate that, Robert. Ryan Matthews seems to lead the field for quite a while now. Again, James Leham in the 01 slowly gaining ground. He's just under a half a lap back. 51 seems to be not lacking for power or concentration this evening. He's one of the only cars that actually has very little damage on it.
Looks like Lehman's actually got a little bit too much power. Got a little squirrely coming off of turn number 2. Put it up into the fence. Just a little bit more damage on that Chips Ahoy number 01, but looks like he's going to survive it. Go back after Ryan Matthews in that 51. 1 second the gap between the two. And behind them, Ryan Hill going after a win. And we got a caution here on lap number 46. It looks like Doug Roth, that number 43 machine, up into the wall in turn number 1.
Yes, as we get that replay pulled back up, we will see exactly what happened to Doug.
Looking at the replay, it looks like the number 95 of Jeffrey Ford got tapped by Kyle Charpentier as they went into turn number 1. And as that back end came around, it just hit that quarter panel of the 43, sent him up into the fence.
Yes, almost synchronized spinning there. Sorry, Ray.
That's okay. Gabe, all night long I've been using the phrase patience aggressive, or aggressive patience. Basically, you've got to keep up with the cars here, but obviously be patient on the long runs. If you don't keep up, you get chances of getting past, but you got to be aggressive to take and keep up with the lead pack, with that being said too.
Yeah, we saw that last week in the Truck Series race. A lot of drivers just being way too aggressive, and they go into either turn number 1 or turn number 3 and just get hard on the brakes, and they didn't have time to stop the car, and that caused a majority of the cautions. You know, most of them were really single-car incidents that just turned into big ones because they didn't have the room. You know, here at Martinsville, one car gets sideways. It's almost like Dover. It blocks the entire racetrack.
Yeah, real quick, guys, I just saw the pit stops. Looks like Ryan Matthews did beat everybody off pit road there. Looks like he was followed by Ryan A. Hill got out pretty quick, as well as Jason Jacoby in the One Domino's machine.
Another thing about these cars, they don't really wear a lot of tires here at Martinsville. The lowest I think I've seen last night in the trucks, even though these cars are heavier, is about 97% of rubber left. With that being said, a lot of these lap down guys are trying to stay out and keep what they can, but they're going to have to take fuel eventually. Tires are definitely a little bit of an advantage, but not as much as most tracks.
Well, when you look back at the Truck Series race, Ray, I want to touch on a little tidbit you pointed out to me at the end of that race. You stayed on the lead lap, and your car was pretty much junk, but you ended up coming across the line to get a top 10. So you can get a top 10 here in Martinsville with an absolutely beat-up car. You just have to be in the right position, and I think it's what most of these guys are trying to get in.
Yeah, what Gabe's pointing out is we ran the Xfinity race last week here, and with 12 laps to go, there was a wreck ahead of me. Unfortunately, I got hit in the side, and it moved the rear end sideways. I literally drove the last 10 laps under green with the wheel at 90 degrees to the right. I even got hit at one point in time. Again, this is not a brag by any means. I got passed by several cars because I was up towards the front and ended up in a top 10 finish in 9th place with a bent rear end. You can do that here with these cars. Again, you just got to use your head towards the end, especially. You can over throttle these. We've actually had the leader earlier at the beginning of the race lead the pack off, hit the throttle, and went sideways on the first restart here. And unfortunately, that took him out of the chance to being up front. He might be able to get back tonight. Looks like the pace car is pulling off as we talk. Again, leader has discretion. The 51 of Ryan Matthews can let him go anytime they want. And there goes Ryan. Green flag's out. Everybody else follows suit. 01 falls in behind him, but the 55 tries to challenge him to the inside. Couldn't get there. The 1 of Jason Jacoby to the outside should fall back into 4th place here.
Looks like he's fighting back hard, so he's going to try and get that position back as they go into turn number 3. We cross that quarter distance. We are now 1 quarter into the night 200 lap event. And we almost went 3 wide back there. It looked like between Eric Stanford, Kyle Sharp, and maybe Doug Roth. But Doug Roth, he was the car that was spinning on that last caution. He's now up into the 7th spot.
Set of nice fresh tires gives you a little bit more traction. Again, not a necessity here really much at Martinsville. 24 of Eric Sanford, we're keeping an eye on now, back in 5th place, right in the tire tracks of the 1 of Jason Jacoby. A bunch of passing and side-by-side racing in the back as the 43 goes underneath the 20 of Colin Bowden. Looks to be for the 6th spot.
A little bit farther back between them, Kyle Charpentier and William Davis. Oh,
Sanford spinned on turn 4, cautions out all alone. A few of them collected behind the pack.
Yeah, I was watching that as we get the replay brought up. Looks like Eric Stanford in that 24. He gets the left tires on the curb coming off the corner, knocks the rear end out to the right, and he goes all the way around. Very, very minimal contact. I think his car will be just fine.
Those other drivers, it looks like the 88 of Cal Kamer got in the back of Mike Franklin as they came off of turn number 4. And one guy slid up for the wreck, and one guy did not get the memo, and that ends up pretty much ruining the 88's race. It looks like the front clip is torn off of that Interstate Batteries.
Yes, and at this time we're going to take our first quick commercial break. Fans, thanks for joining us. We'll tell you how to win your free pizza in just a minute. You're watching the USPS 200 live on All Pro Broadcasting. We'll be right back. Welcome back, race fans, to the USPS 200 here at Martinsville Speedway live on All Pro Broadcasting. We just had a caution, some pit stops. It looks like the leaders stayed out. Gabe, who's out front?
Back out front is Ryan Matthews in that 51. They're going to come off turn number 4. Green flag back in here. Good restart for that 51 as they come down the front straightaway. He's going to have about a 1 car length lead as they go. And look at Colin Bowden. Power move to the inside for 4th.
Looks like the 55, Ryan A. Hill, is trying to get back into it as well. He come back from the 4th spot, fired it right to the inside of 0-1 of James Lehan. Lehan falls back into 3rd, clearly makes the pass with the 55.
55 of Ryan Hill now going after that 51, and he is going to try and win this race. He is not going to finish 2nd. I know. Excuse me. That 55 is famous in this league for finishing 2nd. Hopefully he can come away with win number 1 on the 2017 season.
Hopefully a bride instead of a bridesmaid. He's got 4 lengths behind the 51. Now 3 going into turn 3. Oh,
he puts the bumper
around
to
he goes.
Round goes Jason Jacoby, Brandon Monsivice, and look at Kyle Charpentier. He is on the inside of the racetrack. He went on the infield to avoid that wreck.
Yes, we'll get this replay pulled up real quick. It does look like the 01 of James Lehman got in just a little hot, just barely tapped the rear end of the 55 of Ryan A. Hill. And like I mentioned before, in these corners, these cars have such little grip. They're already loose. You just touch a car, and the car will go right around.
Looking like to me that 55 got a little bit high coming off of turn number 2, and it just slowed up his momentum enough, and the 01 was just there.
Looks like it did collect the 1 of Jason Jacoby. The 003 of Kyle Charpentier got through. Quite a few other cars did get involved, but I don't see any major damage here.
That'll actually add to the damage on the front of the 01 of James Lehan. A little bit of nose damage, actually more than there was before. He had a fender in the air. It looks to be the nose is going to be okay, though. My own suggestion here, if you agree with me, Gabe, I would have it checked, but if he thinks he should be going, let him go.
Well, I mean, he hit him hard enough. It might be okay, or it could puncture the radiator and that car starts heating up. He's just going to have to find out under the green flag or come in and pit now. But if he gets under the green flag and that car starts heating up, his pro race is pretty much over with.
See, that's just it. It's not just puncturing the radiator, but as well as nose damage as well. You need airflow to those motors to keep them running. We've seen it all too often where somebody rear ends and the front end gets some damage and things kind of get above 260, 70 degrees and suddenly, boom, you're done for the evening. So let's hope that's not the case with the 01.
51 of Ryan Matthews continues to lead under this caution. Ray, let me in a little bit of a race recap, not only for people who just joining us now, but also me. What's been going on so far?
Well, when your helicopter's late, do what you got to do. We started off the night with the 55 of Ryan Hill on the outside of the front row, and it looked like the 03 of Dylan C. Jones. That was our front row. Unfortunately, Jones had some incidents at the beginning where it ended up him off the track. Right now, 41 laps down in 30th place. Our second place starter, Hill, of course, involved in that last little incident. He is now restarting 16th in this start. I think is what happened just before the caution flew. We had a couple guys get by that whole wreck, and actually they did a pretty good job of getting through it. The 03, I believe, was the beginning starter at one point in time. I'm looking back here a little bit. Of Dylan Jones. And what happened to him, like I said, he come off the corner, turn 4 in a restart, got a little bit antsy, spun the rear tires and hit his nose right into the inside retaining wall and brought out like the second caution on the first restart. So right now, here we are with the 51 of Ryan Matthews, who started 6th on the point, with James Lehan 01 machine, who started 5th on the outside of the front row. Here we go, pace cars off. We're going to see a restart here. The 51 can shoot it anytime he wants.
So the 01 tried to time it on that restart. He gets loose.
Holds up people behind him. The 20 of Colin Bowden takes advantage to the inside, pushes the 51 to the outside. Freight train coming through. The 5 of Justin Faulkner looking till they can get to the quarter panel. He's at the door. Goes into turn 1. Takes the low line. 51 still stuck on the outside, trying to grab traction.
The 20 of Colin Bowden took advantage of it, but it ripped the entire nose off the front at number 20 DVR Racing Machine. So have to wait and see what kind of damage that can do. 51 of Ryan Matthews holding strong around the outside. And that looks like, yep, my guess was right. James Lehman had a little bit of damage on that 01. It looks like it may have been heating up. So he will come to the pits. That'll put Doug Roth in that number 43 machine to the lead.
Doug Roth, 16th place starting tonight. Did a pretty good job going through the field. They just had to take advantage of it while guys pitted. Got him up towards the front. Watching back at the 51 and now the 20 are challenging each other for second place. The 20 seems to still holding his ground, but Faulkner looking to the inside. Again, not there. Falls back in the line through turn 2.
Like that number 20 machine losing some speed now as Faulkner goes to the inside of him in turn number 3. Looks like he's going to complete that pass, and that's going to open the door for William Davis in the 0-11 to get around him as well. He's not going to get him around him in turn number 2 or turn number 1. Looks like he's going to try to go to the outside, the 17. Gary Sexton cooks it into turn number 1. Ends up getting it low down. There goes the 20 loose on the bottom side.
You know, Arrow doesn't seem like it's a big deal here, but right now for the 20, he's kind of experiencing what it is like all about. He's still trying to keep up. Gotcha,
Sorry,
yeah. I just saw that, buddy. I didn't see it. He was trying to get down away from all the cars getting in the pits. I see him pitting now. Doug Roth on the point, at least a second over Ryan Matthews in the 51. Faulkner back another half a second from Matthews in the number 5.
Yeah, I mentioned Faulkner started way back in the field tonight. He's sporting a new paint job on that number 5 tonight, Chevy SS. He has definitely moved all the way up to 3rd position. Looks like he started in 26 qualifying time. Great move for Justin Faulkner tonight so far in the early going. Fans, I also want to mention for you to get your picks in for the free large 3-topping pizza. You can text 919-883-7497. Or if you're watching live on YouTube, you can comment your pick of the winner in the live chat. You've got about 23 laps to get your pick in.
Who would have picked Doug Roth to win this race? Who would have picked him to be leading before halfway? Qualified in 16th, practiced in 25th, going after his first top 10 on the 2017 season.
Keep one thing in mind, there's still a lot of laps to go. Well over half this race, which would equal over 100 laps. Doug Roth with at least a 10-car lead over second place of Ryan Matthews. Now, also in mind that the lap-down cars will be ahead. That is one thing they're going to have to maze their way through. If they keep it under green at this point, it sure seems like that's going to happen.
I did want to mention Doug Roth is a relatively new driver in our league. He is driving that STP Ford Fusion, the number 43. He's got a really tricked out paint job on that number 43. I don't think I've ever seen those colors on a 43 before, but it is looking really good. Leading this race in the Ford Fusion.
Doug Roth, an RSR veteran, I believe, so he's got some experience on these racetracks, the Full Throttle Cup Series, and I believe he ran a little bit on the Winter Series as well, but like he's starting to work his way through some lap traffic now, and looks like Faulkner now in that second spot. He's gotten around Matthews.
12 cars on the lead lap, following up in the 20th place of the 87 Raymond Reitenhauer. It seems to be Doug Roth. Doesn't have his work cut out for him just yet. Just has to be smooth through these corners. Again, still at least a dozen car lengths between him and the second of the 5 of Justin Faulkner.
It's like Faulkner, and counting that lap traffic, he's got the 87 on the outside of him, a very damaged race car. He's going to work around that outside lane here. He's going to let these drivers go. Kyle Charpentier from going through the garage area basically to miss that wreck, now up into the 4th spot.
Looks like the only challenge will have to get back to almost 6th place, basically with the 17 of Gary Sexton and the 74 of Nick Crawford. They were side by side for a short bit, fall back in the line. Sexton with a 6th place spot.
Looks like the 01 of James Lehman has now come back on the racetrack. He's a couple spots back. He's in 21st. Looks like only 1 lap down, so he didn't lose that much time, but that's just enough. Looks like he's now just into the lucky dog position. So if we get a quick caution right now, he will get back on the lead lap, have a chance back at this.
That actually makes 19 cars now in the lead lap. Lehan being the 20th place car, 1 lap down for the lucky dog spot, catbird seat as you want to call it. Back up front now, it seems like Faulkner is starting to gain ground on the 43 of Roth. He's made it under a second, back to about 10 car lengths from him, slowly gaining every corner.
Yes, I did want to mention the 51. Sorry about that, Gabe. Ryan Matthews, he led a bunch of laps here at the beginning of the race. He must be taking care of his equipment because he has fallen back, looks like, to 4th position He's racing a very smart race. He has a tad of damage on the rear. He is right in the tire tracks of the 003 of Kyle Charpentier. As Kyle locks up the left front going in the corner, I'm guessing that Ryan Matthews is just saving his equipment at this point.
Matthews just got passed for that number 3 spot. Second went into turn number 1. Well, he's now going to fall back to that 4th spot. And Charpentier having another good run, as well as Justin Faulkner. He's caught him by almost half a second. Now down to 4/10 of a second. 2 car lengths between those top 2 drivers.
The 011 of William Davis in 5th place spot seems to be losing a little bit of ground, keeps going high through the corners, while behind him, the 74 of Nick Crawford has gotten around the 17 of Gary Sexton. See a smooth line basically through each corner, pulling on Sexton and Garying on the 011 of William Davis.
Looks like we got a battle for the lead brew, and may want to get some cameras up front because it's going to get good here in the next few laps. That 43 is now under fire from the 5 of Justin Faulkner. As he go into turn number 3, he's going to get to the back bumper of him. Looks like he's running just a little bit higher of a line. It's a very interesting strategy from that number 5 machine.
Looks like he's trying to arc the corner, but I don't think he's got enough front bite to get it down through the out to the outro to the corner. But lap traffic is going to become a factor. Ahead of them, it looks to be the 11 of Russ Moore. Is going to be the first challenger when the leader gets to him. Again, a little high in the line, going to arc it a bit. The number 5 of Faulkner doesn't gain any ground that corner, but 3 car lengths behind the leader, 43 of Doug Roth.
Closing in on a halfway point yet again. Robert mentioned it one more time, that free pizza giveaway.
Yes, sir. Fans, if you text 919-883-7497, now would be a perfect time to get your last-minute pick in, but you do have about 8-7 laps to get it in.
Little something on that number 5 of Justin Faulkner. He was the first Domino's TYJ winner ever at Charlotte last year, the inaugural Cup Series race.
Little attaboy there to the Faulkner in the 5. He started 26th this evening, worked his way up through the field. Of course, now into a battle for the lead. Still taking that high line, doesn't seem to be an advantage for him. Shooting to the bottom of the track, right to the bumper of the 43. 43 pulls away through the turn.
Yeah, I was going to mention that Justin Faulkner not only got the first win in the Domino's TYJ racing season last year, he also came home with the trophy for our Cup Car Series in 2016. He does have that new paint job on the car, the Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff number 5 Chevrolet SS. He's definitely putting that car up front tonight.
Behind the second place of Faulkner, the 003 of Kyle Charpentier is back in the 3rd spot, 2 seconds behind the leaders right now. Back up to Faulkner just for a second. He has made it from 1 second down to 0.243 behind the leader, and gaining seems to be every lap. Sometimes he takes that high line again, kind of slows him up, but now he's on the bumper, the 43 of Doug Roth.
And Doug Roth is using every inch of this track, going down the front stretch and the back stretch. And in the corners, he's right up against the yellow curbing. That is the preferred line around here. As he gets loose. A little bit too much throttle. He does save it. Excellent piece of driving by that 43 Doug Roth in the STP Ford Fusion.
Excellent driving to the guys behind him, too. A few guys checking up. Figure guys are going to wreck ahead of him. Everybody's still under motion. Well, Justin Faulkner, new leader now, with a half a second behind him with the 43 of Doug Roth.
So that's an interesting thing as we get close here to halfway. I would have thought Doug Roth would have been able to hang on to it. Faulkner looks like he was just cooking it too much going into the corners, but he ends up getting freebied a position, and looks like now he's got his braking under control because he's running a tight inside lane, so it's a little bit weird.
One of the things we spoke about earlier, basically, these tires here at Martinsville don't wear out very easy. Lowest I've seen on the ones I ran here in the lighter cars was 97%. Rubber left when we went into this. This does seem to be one of the longer green flag runs. You just got to slowly adjust your brake every time you go into the corner. Otherwise, even brake bias will help you at this point. But Faulkner seems to have that line down. Even though he's in the second groove, he's not laying down any rubber. Seems to be smooth in and out. Now with 1 second over Doug Roth in second.
Yeah, these cars do have quite a few laps on their tires. I think some of the leaders on the last caution did stay out, like the 51 of Ryan Matthews. That's one reason he has not been able to make up too much ground. But these tires are going to wear a little bit more, Ray. They do not wear a whole lot, but the more tires we put on in this long green flag run, we're happy to see. The more guys I'm predicting will have trouble coming up off the corner with the throttle. They're going to have to work it.
Caution with the 95.
Yep, the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. Looks like he got up into the wall in turn number 2, and he went to get it off the wall, and it looks like it just spun right around on him.
This will be halfway mark through the race, lap 102. Actually, we're a little bit late with that. We hope you got your guests in for your pizza for the winners at the end of the race. Again, I wish everybody luck that has participated at this point. We'll see how pit strategies follow out here.
Well, the driver's going to follow onto pit road. Justin Faulkner will be the first driver to hit his pit stall. As they come right around, he's going to get to pit stall number 26 for that number 5 Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff Chevy SS as he drops into his pit stall. Looking for a good stop here.
Yeah, at this point, guys, we're halfway through. We have stopped taking the picks for your pizza winner. These guys are probably going to get 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. They're also probably going to get full load 2 cans of Sunoco Racing Fuel. And most of these guys will be done pitting if they're in the top 5. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, right now, especially on those long runs, you've seen what happened to Doug Roth, a little bit hard into the corner with the rear tires kind of coming out from underneath him. It's very, very smart right now to get tires, especially if you get back out in second place.
Slow pit stop for the number 5. Looks like he drops 2 positions, and Kyle Charpentier is going to go to the lead.
Not sure what's going on here. I see him dropping even farther down the board in the 15th. Okay, no, it had to cycle back through with the lap cars. It looks like Faulkner was going to restart 5th on the inside line, 3rd row.
Okay, we got a couple of guys staying out. Brandon Cruz, Monsivice, and Jeremy Crandall in the number 73. They're going to stay out, so your top 2 on older tires. Looks like they're now going to come to pit road, so Kyle Charpentier will be your leader.
Jeremy Crandall actually was in the 19th spot before this caution flew. He was your lucky dog for this evening right now on lap 102. This is lap 104 we're following as we speak. It'll get him back on the lead lap, considering he was 1 lap down. The next guy back for that shot is the 0-1 with a damaged front of James Lehan.
Yeah, I did want to mention Jeremy Crandall. He is sporting, looks like that 7-3 Chevy SS. Looks like a helping kids 1 lap at a time. The Victory Junction Camp. Trying to get a better, closer look at this sponsor on his car. It's a beautiful paint job. He's got Scoops Ice Cream, old-fashioned ice cream of Vieira, Florida on the back. It definitely looks like he's got Hermie Sadler on the hood as well. I think he knows these gentlemen very well. Good to see him in the race tonight getting the lucky dog.
It's actually pretty amazing looking at Kyle Charpenter's car up front here. Doesn't seem to be a lick of damage on that machine. Any corner I can find. Behind him with the 43 of Doug Ross starting on the outside line. A little bit of beating and banging going on there. Faulkner, again, no damage. Seems to be these guys up front. As long as they can keep a line, they can keep those cars clean.
Pace car pulls off, and we're going to get your race restarted here on lap number 106. Laps now counting down. Tonight's 200-lap event here at Martinsville. They're going to get to the green flag. Charpentier takes off. Good restart for that 003.
The inside, Faulkner tries to take 3rd spot away from the 74 of Nick Crawford. Nick Crawford will fall back in line. 1 through 6 back, lined up head to toe.
Looks like Doug Roth trying to get around him. Hopefully, with that Doug Roth in that 2nd spot, hopefully it ends just a little bit better. The battle between him and Justin Faulkner for that number 43 machine. So he got loose the last time those two were anywhere near each other. The top 3 running single file. Looks like they're about an equal distance away from each other. We got another caution here. Looks like Curtis Young up into the outside wall.
Taking a look at that replay, I seen him kind of come down the back wall backwards when he got spun. I see a lot of guys miss that wreck, trying to see what happened here.
Looks like it's Jesse Abraham in the number 97 machine as they got to the outside and coming off the turn number 2 on the back straightaway. Looks like he just turned right, just drifted down into that number 94.
That's what I'm seeing here on my point of view. The 97 of Abraham actually ripped the front end off his car. Again, that'll affect a little bit. Some rear end damage as well. Hopefully Curtis is in good shape when things are kind of get rolling again.
At this point, do you think these leaders are going to come down pit road? They were just on pit road a few laps ago, guys. I'm guessing they're going to stay out maybe for the back of the lead lap cars. You might come back in.
I think a couple of the guys, I wouldn't pit at the moment in time, but a couple of the guys around the rear that tried to get a lap back while everybody pitted up front. Obviously, this is an advantage to them because when you take the wave around and everybody ahead of you pits, you cannot pit because it's on the last one-go lap when you catch the field.
Ray, I gotta ask you, now that the picks are in for this, who do you think's going to come away with the victory?
It's awful tough at this point. If you ask me about 50 to 60 laps from now, I might be able to give you a better answer. My pick right now would have to be the 5 of Justin Faulkner. He's had his head steam all night long, kept a good line, even led a few laps. Came from a strong position back from 26, now in the 3rd position. Not a lot of damage done to that car except for just kind of moving around. I'm going to say that's my pick at this point, the Faulkner number 5. How about yourself, Gabe?
I'd have to pick that 43 of Doug Roth. I wouldn't have said that, except for whenever he got out front. That car just took off like a rocket. He took off to a 1.6 second lead before getting caught by Faulkner. So he's got the car enough to do it.
He did actually have a little slip up earlier, obviously got it right under control. So he does have wheel control. I'll give him a lot of that. 18 cars on the lead lap. Last car, 73 of Jeremy Crandall, was able to dog last time. We may have one more, and if that's the case, I would believe, yes, we did actually, with James Leaham. We again 18 cars in the lead lap. 003 of Kyle Charpenter, your leader.
I will throw my pick out since the picking is closed for the free pizza. I'm going to pick Ryan A. Hill. I got a feeling he's going to be able to make his way to the front before the end of the race, and he is definitely tired of finishing second.
Gabe, I've got bad news for you. I did ask earlier if we were available to win this free pizza. Sorry, man. We're out of luck with that.
Want to give a little shout out. We've been talking about the paint scheme on that 43 machine. That's from Hippie's Paint Shop. Hippie's Paint Shop. It's not, the cost isn't high, just the painter.
We're going to green. Pace cars off to 003 of Kyle Charpenter. Leads the field off of 4. We're under green.
And Kyle Charpenter gets a great launch.
Doug Roth didn't get clear, so that's going to let Faulkner in on the inside lane as they go into turn number 1, off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. They're door to door.
Looks like a Daytona start with the leader way out front, covering 2 lines. The battle back in second, the 5 of Faulkner, 43.
Contact
side by
between
side.
the 2 of them.
Contact still underway. Roth real high on the track, trying to arc it back down, loses a spot.
What happened between the 5 and the 43? That was a violent impact between the 2 of them.
A little bit of aggressive racing. Got to equal out that patience and that aggressiveness all at the same time, especially here at Martinsville. 43 seems to be on the outside of the 55. The 55 will take position up in 5th. Now back in the top 5 of Ryan Hill.
Meanwhile, all this is happening. Kyle Charpenter pulled away to a 1.1 second lead. 1 tip added to that lap from 1 second to 1.1. So that 003 going after his first victory, and he may come here at Martinsville.
Ryan Hill with a few mechanical issues there, a couple blinks. Back to the 43 of Doug Roth, looking there in 6th place. Seems to have a nice cushion in front and behind him. Going back up to the leader of Kyle, seems to have even a better cushion of a second back to 2nd place of Faulkner.
Out of 4 races on the 2017 season, this is Kyle Charpenter's first time leading. So a little bit of a milestone for that young driver in the Domino Series.
Nice and smooth into turn 1 goes Charpenter, down the back chute. He'll go. Still kind of pegging that lead of just over a second behind him. Faulkner not really gaining or losing any ground. Right now would definitely be the time to do that, considering they've got over 80 laps to go.
William Davis up into that 3rd spot. He's now getting passed by Jason Jacoby, that house car, that Domino's Chevy SS, as he goes into turn number 1. And that's going to open the door for Ryan Hill as they go into turn number 3. He's going to dive it down to the inside. Contact between them, and the 011 gets spun around.
Everybody runs to the outside. No caution. Car still under motion. Nothing in the way. Everybody makes it through. A few guys lose some positions. 3 wide coming off it. The 011 spins again, and the caution is out.
That was weird. The 011 went to go get back to the gas, and I guess the alignment was screwed up on that 011 machine and just spun right around on him.
I think what it is, when you get back on the throttle here, especially from a dead stop, these cars got so much horsepower. Even though he had the traction and couldn't use it, he just kind of got a little aggressive to get out of the way, spun the tires, and around he went. Hopefully not too much front-end damage for the 011.
Looking at these drivers, looks like they're going to try and come down to pit road. So Kyle Charpentier is going to lead the field onto the attention of these crews.
Looks like he's not doing complete 35 mile an hour, which actually Faulkner's taking advantage of to get to his pit quicker. That is a slight advantage. In fact, it'll give him a half a second to get back out quicker than the 0.3 of Charpentier.
As they come to their pit stalls, Faulkner hit it first, and then Charpentier, and it looks like the 74 of Crawford's going to come in front of him. And there goes Faulkner. He may have taken 2 tires. Going to have to look and see, because that was a quick pit stop from that number 5 machine.
And the 5 does win the race off of pit road there. Looks like the 24 of Eric Stanford will be second, followed by the 003 of Carl Charpentier. The 55 of Ryan A. Hill. That was a close battle. I think Ryan A. Hill got the battle off of pit road.
Looks like it was a 2-tire call for that number 5 machine.
And personally, I think he should have taken 4, just my own opinion, of course. The reason I say that is it looked like most everybody else take 4, and he was into his pit stall before anybody of the leaders. That would have been an advantage to him, of course, being up that far. Waiting for pit cycles to kind of go through here. A few guys still have yet to pit. A couple guys get the wave around, hopefully, if all goes well. It looks like Ryan A. Hill is going to start right now in the 6th position. The 003 of Kyle Charpentier is going to start in 7th if things continue the way they are, with Gary Sexton on the point.
Yeah, looks like we got some new players leading this race now that we've got about 75 laps to go. We do have Gary Sexton in the 17. He is leading. He definitely has got some older tires there on that 17.
He may have some older tires, but that car looks pretty clean. And this is the first laps led all year by that 17 as well. So Kyle Charpentier and Gary Sexton getting their first laps led on the 2017 season.
With that being said, keep in mind, fellas, these cars can go quite the many laps with these fuel cells. I'm going to believe right now the 17 and 51 have enough to make it to the end. Tires, that might be another question. I mean, if you can get 40 to 50 laps on these things without a lot of wear and you don't skid them too much, you should be able to make it to the end. We're going to double up and go.
Going to throw in Brandon Cruz-Monsiváis as well into that field because he's that 54 machine on the inside lane. Faulkner will be your first driver on new tires in that number 5 machine on the outside lane. He's got Eric Stanford in that 24 to the inside of him in 5th.
Not sure if Eric Stanford is pitted or not. Pace car will be off. The 17 of Sexton can gun at any time and release the field. It looks like he's going to do so here down in turn 4, and off we go again. Green, green, green. 54 of Brandon Monsiváis goes to the inside of the 51 of Matthews down to turn 1, holds the line. Door to door, a little spin from behind. Stanford off into the grass. Caution flag out.
Said that caution was for the 56 of Josh Bondwell coming to the restart.
If we get that replay pulled up here, yep.
The caution was out way before anything else happened in turn number 1. The caution was really out by the time they got to the start-finish line as that 56 tried to catch the field. When they came to the restart, it looks like he just got up in the outside lane and into the marbles, and it spun around on him.
This is why we've got more than one announcers, boys. I actually did miss that in the beginning. I had the flags off my screen, so unfortunately I couldn't see that at the time. I was watching Stanford up in the front spot, and, well, obviously what happened there, bud?
No problem at all. And this time we're going to take our very last commercial break. You're watching the United States Postal Service 200. United States Postal Service delivering more Amazon Prime packages on Sunday than all other U.S. shippers combined. We'll be right back.
JD Motorsports Chevrolet, and you're watching All Pro Broadcasting.
Welcome back, race fans, to the United States Postal Service 200 Domino's TYJ Racing Dented Fender, Top Shelf Cup race.
What are
Just had it, go ahead. I've been doing so many races lately, I get a little confused. Pardon me, fans. Go ahead, Gabe.
Coming to the restart, Gary Sexton. We're going to try this yet again. Line him up, the same leader, Gary Sexton, on the inside lane. He takes off. Here they come to the green flag. Looks like Kyle Sharpman's here back in the pack. Got a little bit of a bad restart as they come to the line. Caution is out yet again. As they came to the line, it looks like the 73 of Jeremy Crandall was sideways, and the number 95 of Jeffrey Ford got into him.
Unfortunately, after Crandall spun it, looked like the 95 of Jeffrey Ford come out of the corner and gave him a little bit more damage on that 73, not having anywhere to go. Let's hope we get him re-racked back up quick. Lap 132 in the books.
All right, guys. Well, I want to talk about something really quickly as we got a second. iRacing released a video today. We talked about dirt last week in the Xfinity Series. Now the World of Outlaws has become the official online partner of iRacing. It's just a little bit of a good news for the dirt community, guys.
You know, I'm going to say right now, we're iRacing. Quit teasing us, man. Just release it. I think right now, it's from what I hear, it's a release is going to be towards the end of this month.
Yeah, I've heard about March 20th, but...
Yeah, I'm going to believe around March 20th, 21st. I thought 29th, but we'll find out when that point comes. I'm actually psyched to try these dirt cars. As much as popular racing around the United States of dirt, New York has a majority of dirt tracks up here. And, I've ran just a couple of them, a handful. If I want to try this on iRacing, I'm going to tell you why iRacing's done an excellent job with asphalt. The way it was put to me a long time ago, Gabe and Robert, and I can't say this too loud, asphalt's finesse, just out. I can't say the other word. It's amazing, though. I'm hoping they did a great job. It seems to look great and beautiful in the videos that they've got out.
Yeah, I think Eric Stanford, I believe, was watching the broadcast and said the Domino's World of Outlaw series.
It might just happen.
No, but that's good news as we're getting close to the green flag. That's good news for future racetracks. I know iRacing, sometimes they have trouble getting the licenses for the racetracks they want. With the World of Outlaws name, I mean, just like the NASCAR series, if the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series driver wins a championship, he's a NASCAR champion. So we may get a World of Outlaws official tour here on iRacing that race for a $10,000 check. So this will get fun.
A lot of people look at this a little bit different way. I look at it as a simulation, and I look at it as a real life. They put a lot of work and effort into iRacing, and I'm going to tell you, it's a struggle to take a winter race here, just like in real life. Your palms sweat, your heart beats, and you really got to do a lot of concentrating while you're driving. I'm sure that is the same way when dirt comes out, and I'm anxious to see it myself.
Now, from what I've heard, I think they're not going to do much official stuff to begin with. I think they're going to run a couple of dirt Eldora races to start off with.
I think it's going to be
first releases.
I think it's going to be awful interesting when they put the trucks on that dirt, because I'd like to see some Hoosiers on them trucks and see what they're all about. I think it's going to be awesome.
And the fun thing about it, it's going to have a dirt setup, so we can run it at any dirt track. Robert, let's organize a dirt night at Williams Grove in the Cup car.
Hey, we're going to do a lot of interesting things, guys. For sure, we're going to have the the Dented Fender Truck Series racing at Eldora, if it's available here in a couple months. Guys, these caution laps are helping the 17 of Gary Sexton as far as his fuel goes, as far as his tires go. Hopefully, we get a long green flag run at the end of this race. But these guys that stayed out, they've got a little bit older tires. They took 2 tires like Justin Faulkner, the number 5 running in second right now. It's really going to put on a good show to see who's going to pull this victory off with about 59 laps to go.
Sexton takes off at a turn number 4. Sorry, right? He got a huge restart, and there goes Ryan Hill to the inside. He does the crossover on the 51 as they go into turn number 1. He's going to have the inside lane on Ryan Matthews.
3 wide through turn 2, back about 7th, 8th, and 9th place. We all make it through. Third place battle between the 55 of Hill and Matthews, the 51. The Hill will actually get the point. Up front, Justin Faulkner in a 5, right on the tail of Gary Sexton, right off the bat, with still, caution is out, gentlemen.
Caution is out yet again. Looks like we had one car stopped, maybe the 82 of Mike Franklin stopped on the front straightaway. Gonna have to take a look at that.
I'm getting the replay pulled up right now. It looks like the 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsivice comes off the corner, and Mike Franklin just gets into the wall. We saw this in the truck race last night, guys. Vehicle gets in the wall coming off the corner. They lose about 10 miles an hour just like that. If you're behind them, you have nowhere to go. So it looks like only a 3-car incident. Looks like the 87 of Raymond Reitenauer, who already had a lot of damage. He got a little bit more damage. But it looks like the night for the 54 of Brandon Cruz Monsivice will be over, as he'll be pulling that car behind the wall tonight.
Looking from my vantage point, I'm looking in the air here at the 82 and the 01. 82, you are right, get a little bit loose. It looks like he tapped the 01, kind of lost it, just about missed the wall, came down and hit the 54, and that's what spun him sideways in the front stretch.
And I'm thinking with this caution, this might actually equalize the tires. The guys who were in the back of the lead lap that came in and got 4 about 3 cautions ago now, compared to the gentleman who did stay out and get 0 tires. They are still up front, looks like.
16 cars right now in the lead lap, back to the 20 of Kyle Bowden. Curtis Young in the 94 would be the 17th machine. 1 lap down. I think he's going to get the lucky dog, which would make that 17 vehicles on the lead lap, and give Curtis another shot to get up through the field.
And I know Curtis, he wants to get back on this lead lap. He hates finishing near the rear of the field. I mean, any driver does, but when you have the speed that Curtis Young does, and I mean, he just does not want to finish in that position.
Long time. Go ahead, Robert.
I'm going to talk about a couple of cars. Kind of going through the field on a caution real quick. Let me know when we get ready to restart, guys. The 74 of Nick Crawford running in 8th. He's got a beautiful Las Vegas Chevy SS. A little bit of rear end damage on that 74 for Nick Crawford, but he's having a good run in 8th. Tanner Talrico in that 42. Already mentioned him before. He's having a good run in 9th. Doug Roth mentioned him before. He's in 10th. Hopefully he can get back to the front. James Lehman in that 01. Looks like the Muscle Milk Chips Ahoy Chevy SS. A little right rear damage. He's running 11th. Hopefully he can get back up front. Jeff T. Martin in the atopgamers.com 014 is running in 12th. Jack Watts has got no rear bumper on that 66 Southeast Motorsports. He's running in 13th. Buzz Moore in the 11. There's only 26. And y'all go ahead and take the restart, guys.
Gary Sexton on a point. Pace cars off. Can fire again at any time at leader's discretion. Comes out of turn 4. Kind of leans up just a little bit. He'll fire right along with the side of Faulkner in the number 5. Tries to stay side by side. Going across the stripe. Side by side it'll be. Going down to turn 1. Door to door. Faulkner trying to get the advantage. But no. Sexton takes it. 55 of Hill takes the advantage on the inside. Going for the lead down to turn 3.
Faulkner puts the bumper to him in turn number 3. Hill goes to the lead, and there goes Jason Jacoby for the 2nd spot. Sexton gets loose, and there goes Faulkner to the inside for 3rd. They're side by side for that 5th spot. Faulkner gets hit by Sexton. Faulkner goes around.
Behind him, a second incident happened with the 74 of Nick Crawford, and I think he got rear-ended by the 43 of Roth. I'll have to check that out.
Looks like the 43 of Roth, he tried to avoid it, and it looks like he was about to, but James Lehman in the 01 machine got caught up in that as well and kind of got forced up into him.
Correction, he got rear-ended by the 42 of Tanner Talarico just a little bit. Basically the breaking point for Roth. The 01 was behind him, had him in a shove of Leham, and there was 2 incidents at the same time bringing out the caution.
Yeah, that collected quite a few cars, gentlemen. And it's going to be interesting to see how many of these cars have got heavy damage. But it did put, looks like, Ryan A. Hill to the lead here. The 55 has been running 2nd, 3rd, 4th all night long. We'll be back up front.
Give kudos to the top 3, even 4 actually with this point. When the battle was happening up front with the 51 and the 5, they were able to drive around pretty easily. Of course, again, it does take some patience here. But they were able to drive along pretty easily and take the top 3 spots away from the guys that were fighting for 1st and 2nd.
Want to take a second to look at the points really quickly, because now with Brian Hill in the lead, He's got the lead and the championship lead right now, 10 points over Tanner Talrico, who was involved in that incident. So it's going to be a good points night for that 55. If he can close the deal, that's 10 points the gap between the two. 4 points back is Mitchell Reeves in the 0-2 and third. He's got no wins on the year, and neither does Ryan Hill. Your first winner, Tanner Talrico. He got the win back in Atlanta. He's got 2 laps led all year, but that was enough. Looking back through the field, Jason Jacoby as well, 135 points, 3 points back. So he's going to make up a few points on a few guys up front.
Consistency, bud. That's what it takes. You don't have to lead a lot of laps. It does matter where you finish, but you just got to be consistent. Middle of the field, front of the field, wherever you can be. It looks like we've got 15 cars on the lead lap now, down from 16. But Curtis, again, in the catbird seat in 16th, minus 1 lap. Hopefully he'll get his lucky dog here. We'll see what happens.
Should be able to get back onto the lead lap. I want to talk about your top, your top 2 drivers, Ryan Hill and Jason Jacoby. Both drivers going after their first win of the year. 50 laps to go. Counting Eric Stanford, Cal Sharpens here. Your top 4 haven't gone to victory lane yet. So it may get pretty aggressive for these drivers to get this first win of the year, because it means so much to them, especially that 55 of Ryan Hill finishing second so many times. If he can come away with this victory, he's going to be one happy camper.
I wouldn't count anybody out at this point, especially in the top 10. Anybody's got a shot. As you just saw with the 55, I mean, he came from like 5th to 6th position all the way up to the front. Even though there was an incident happening, he still drove the car nice and smooth around all the other ones, making sure there was no damage. Looks like we're doubling up here down the back chute. We're going to take...
Coming to the green flag, they're going to stay a little bit high. Hill's going to force him up about a lane or 2. That's going to cause Jason Jacoby to get loose. Eric Stanford goes around on the front straightaway. He's going to keep it going. So that third place driver, he gets spun, and he hits the inside wall and keeps it going. The one of Jason Jacoby's got some damage to that rear bumper, but Ryan Hill, he timed that restart perfectly, and the way he restarted that race, he had that one on the asphalt, that top lane. He had no grip up there when he hit the gas, and that's what happened.
Battle seems to be in third spot right now between the 42 of Talarico and the 003 of Carpenter. Carpenter out of the corners every lap, seems to in the gas to try to get away from the 42 and taps the wall a couple times. Still under motion to around Kobe at this point for second. Pushes him down the front chute, tries to look to the inside, taps him going into 1, comes away still in his tracks. Now up to the high side the 1 goes. Caution flag is out.
Looks like the 42, it's like Tanner Talrico, Gary Sexton, and the 014 of Jeff T. Martin. Gonna get that replay up for you. Just over aggressiveness yet again. These guys have got to control either their tempers or their aggressiveness, because this is just getting ridiculous, the amount of dive bombs we're seeing.
Yeah, on that replay, I got it pulled up. Looks like the 014, like you said, of Jeff Martin. Dived in there a little too hard, got in the back of the 17, and that's what caused that caution.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, we're down to 14 on the lead lap now. It seems like we have one victim every single time. Nick Crawford in the 74 will be in the 15th place. He'll be, again, in the catbird seat. Hopefully be able to get his lap back. Again, Ryan Hill on the point. We'll see what happens on this restart. See, with the new rule they got in Domino's, it's at the leader's discretion on every restart to start the field. He can do it when the green flag flies. He can do it before off. He has the choice. With that being said, coming out of turn 3, when you're in turn 4 here, if you fire it, you have a really good chance of spinning the tires, especially that quick going through the gears. And I think that's what happened to the one of Jacoby. Got a little bit of spin, a little bit of tail fish going on there, fishtail, and got into the back. Somebody got into the back of him at one point in time, slowed up the field, and obviously the result.
I'll talk to a driver really quickly, going after win number 1 on the year, Ryan Hill. Domino's TYJ Booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, there I do.
All right, Ryan, you're in the lead, leading up front. You got Jason Jacoby behind you. He hasn't won either. Kyle Sharpentier hasn't won either. Do you think you can be the first of the first-time winners to get to the checkered flag here at Martinsville?
I sure hope so. Me and Jacoby have been working really well together this all race. We've been having kind of like, I guess, teammate, quote-unquote, just stay off each other just so we can get through the gears. But last restart, I'm not sure what happened. I wanted to try something, see if I can get away from him. But if the race keeps going the way it is, I have very good hopes. If it goes green, I have very good hopes. I just hope I don't spin the tires on the restart like everybody else seemed to be doing in wreck while leading the race. So.
Now we saw you run a little bit high on that restart. Was that to kind of put the tire tracks to the one into that loose step up top?
I wanted to just try to get a straighter shot to the start-finish line, get up to speed a little bit quicker, but because if you notice, everybody, if like they're down here where I'm at now, you'll see when they try to like launch in second gear here, they'll spin out right at the start-finish line. We saw it happen to Dylan when I was behind him, happened to Ryan, and when David was on the outside, he was just trying to get out, and he got bad.
All right, that's Ryan Hill in the number 55 machine as we're getting ready to come to the restart. Ryan, good luck to you.
Thank you.
A little bit of connection issues on Ryan Hill, but looks like it's under control now. Ray, we're coming to the restart here. 40 laps to go. Looks like about 38 by the time they get back to the start-finish line. Your top four, no wins to either of them. So it's going to be a battle of the first-time winners. Ryan Hill won last year in the Dash for Cash Series races, but he has yet to win in the 2017 season. He takes off to a good restart as they come into turn number 2. It's like a little bit of a side-by-side battle between Doug Roth and Talrico. Doug Roth holding it well on the outside lane, that 43 machine holding off for that 4th spot.
Looks like the 55 of Hill had a heck of a start. Jump out in the front. The one was a little bit asleep, and Carpenter took advantage of that, went to the inside of turn 1, got up to 2nd spot, now pulling about 4 lengths away from him, but still has just under a second to get to Hill in the 55.
0.7 of a second between your top two. Jason Jacoby in that 3rd spot. Doug Roth has gotten clear for that number 4 spot. Eric Stanford looks like he's gotten around Taro Talrico in that 42 machine for that top 5 position. Behind them, Justin Faulkner. He's coming up through the field. He was spun out, I think, by that 17 of Gary Sexton a few laps ago. And these cautions back-to-back have allowed him to get back up into the top 10. So a good run yet again for Justin Faulkner.
35 laps to go. It's almost getting close to go time. Stanford looking back in that 5th position. Got around the 42 a couple laps ago, but the 42 seems to be battling back very strong. Looks to be the man to move of the 24, but the 42 is trying to prevent that.
42 Talrico is your 2nd place in points. He's going to try and make it any points he can because at this moment right now he will lose about maybe 5 to maybe 7 or 8 with bonus points to Ryan Hill in the championship standings.
Challenger back in 7th against Faulkner in the 5. Looks to be the 0-1 of James Lehan, who went a lap down earlier. Now up to the 7th position, right past the 5 of Faulkner.
That 01 car just goes to show what a Martinsville car can do. I think, Ray, you've got somebody kind of following in your footsteps because that 01 machine is absolutely destroyed. But he's now up into the 6th spot. Or 7th spot, excuse me.
No, you are right on the 7th spot there. Ahead of him, the 42 of Talrico. The field actually spreading out quite a ways now. Carpenter in the 003 is over a second behind Hill. You'd have to go back to what looks to be the 4th and 5th position between the 43 of Roth and the 24 of Stanford. Stanford is still trying to take and get to that bumper so he can get to the low line to make the pass.
Pretty much your closest battle on the racetrack. Here comes the 24. He's going to blow up just a little bit. Ray, looking at that, I think we got a caution comes out. Looks like Mike Franklin spun out in turn number 2, but looking at that, I think most of these cautions are caused by drivers not knowing when to pass. And I say that I do a lot of road racing, and you kind of have to feel out when it's appropriate to make a pass. You have to work on somebody's rear bumper for a few laps till you get the momentum built up. These guys, they want to get past them because they know if they're faster than them, they're already losing time. So that's why we're seeing all these dive bombs. I think, if we could restart this race, these drivers would kind of learn just a little bit to let the guy go, because it's a heck of a lot better just to lose maybe a 10th or 2 waiting behind the guy than to lose, your front bumper.
Yeah, it didn't look like on that replay. Sorry about that, Ray. The 51 of Ryan Matthews. We've seen it 2 or 3 times tonight. Got in a little hot behind the 82 of Mike Franklin. These cars have little grip in the corners, and he just barely touched him and spun the 82 of Mike Franklin around. Go ahead, Ray.
Oh, good. That's exactly what I just saw here. My replay, I was able to pick that up. basically, like you're saying, Gabe, you got to get with what the other drivers are doing. You got to learn as you're around them during the race where their braking points are. Now, what will happen, obviously, with a guy in front of you, especially if he has more tires, his braking position is going to be a little bit farther, where if you have fresher tires, you're going to catch up. One other thing, too, going into these corners at Martinsville, you're on the brake, but only for a little bit. You want that momentum to still pile you around to keep it going through the corner. But if you're on the brake too hard, you're going to lose too much, and actually you might lock up the front tires and go up the track. So that's all it is basically a learning game of who's around you.
And if you catch up to somebody quickly, you don't have that opportunity to learn, what their tendencies are. So that's why we're seeing some of these cautions. Guys like Gary Sexton, he didn't run up front all race. He gets around these guys, and he doesn't really know their tendencies. He's got a fast car, but he just doesn't know how these drivers race Martinsville.
We did have some takers on pit road there. Some of these guys at the tail end of the lead lap did come down, looks like, to get some work done.
My pick right now, boys, back in 12th. Unfortunately, Justin Faulkner's just fallen back a little bit too far. I think he did take some tires on this lap. Unfortunately, I did not see that, which would put him back that far if that's the case. Now, there might be a bit of advantage to take and catch these front guys, considering there's 25 laps to go in this race. Right now, under this restart, it's definitely go time.
And I feel a little bit confident in my pick. Doug Roth in the 43. He's still in the 4th spot. He's starting in the outside lane, so that's going to be a disadvantage. But, Robert, if Doug Roth wins this race, do I get like a 50% coupon?
I think you ought to give him a pepperoni slice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put some pepperonis, maybe some mozzarella cheese in an envelope, and I'll mail it to you. It looks like on pit road, William Davis came down pit road, got some tires. We also had Jeff T. Martin on pit road. Colin Bowden was on pit road. So some of these guys will be able to hopefully make some moves with the dwindling laps left. But last night we did see in the truck race, we had a handful of guys get new tires with about 30, 40 to go, and they were not able to make much headway.
Now, Robert, you said, with you saying that, I want to go ahead and put this out there. If you can correctly guess the winner for the rest of the year, every single race, Robert will personally come and make you a pizza at your house.
That's a good one.
Getting ready for the restart. Restart underway. Ryan Hill charges into turn number 1. Jason Jacoby gets a good restart this time. Looks like we're almost 3 wide with Kyle Charpentier. He's in the outside wall. Doug Roth going for that 3rd spot on the inside, that 43 machine. He's going to get it done. Looks like Charpentier's putting up just a little bit of a fight, getting up close to that outside wall. The outside lane is actually decently defending. These drivers, they need all that room to get run up next to the wall to get the momentum going. And Charpentier's still fighting hard on that outside lane.
And then there were 15. 22 laps to go. Good jump on a 55 on the restart. Again, back to the 4th spot with Charpentier in the 003. Trying to stay even with the 43 of your pick of Doug Roth. Unfortunately, couldn't hold it that time. Gave the advantage to the 24 of Stanford to the bottom side. Looks like he might get freight trained by the 42 and 74 coming up quick.
2 by 2 for looks like your 5th spot is Tanner Talrico to the inside of Charpentier as they go into turn number 1. Talrico going after 5th. He pushes up just a little bit high, gets into him, but he hangs on to it. And look behind him, Gary Sexton coming his way up through the field in that 9th spot. He's looks like he's working around the lap car.
Yeah, the old one of James Lehman.
James Lehman, yeah, excuse me. James Lehman's actually on the lead lap. So he is in that 9th position now as Gary Sexton into that 8th spot.
Guys, if we stay green, the 5 of Justin Faulkner, he has moved all the way up. Looks like to 11th position. Go ahead, Ray.
It's all good, bud. Doug Roth looks like he's in the 3rd spot. Going to be gained upon with Eric Stanford right behind him by about 2 car lengths. Stanford trying to get that position around to take and get a chance for the lead. We have 18 laps to go. Definitely some good racing going on the track. Behind Stanford, the 74 gets around the 42, who takes a tap from the 003 of Kyle Charpentier. Still underway.
One of James Lehman to the inside of Gary Sexton in turn number 2 as they come. Sexton's got that inside lane, and he's got the position so far as they go into turn number 3. He's now going to set his sights on Charpentier in this 003.
These two have been fighting out for the past 2 laps. I've seen Gary get past him. And back again, the 0-1, a little bit high turn into turn 1. Sexton with a bit of advantage, doesn't take it, still 2 car lengths back.
Update on up front, Ryan Hill still 1.3 seconds in front of the field. Eric Stanford the inside of the 74, Nick Crawford. This is the highest that 74 machine's been all race. He's in that 5th spot. Here comes Tanner Talrico. He's got to get to that inside lane before the 42 fills it. Too late. If I was at 74, I would have dropped to the inside lane, as quickly as I could, because it looks like he's now in danger of losing 2 positions.
Looks like a really good battle heating up there. The 42 falls in behind the 74 of Crawford. Crawford to the back bumper of the 24 of Stanford. Touched him just for a minute. Spins a little bit. Straightens it back up. 42 takes advantage to the inside. Down the back straight. He'll take the position.
42 to the inside. Tanner Talrico moves into the top 5. Back up front. 55, 1.6 seconds in front of Jason Jacoby as we're closing in on 10 laps to go. So it's getting more and more real for that 55 of Ryan Hill to get his first win on the 2017 season.
One more time back to 5th position. The 42 of Talrico spins a little bit sideways. 74 checks up.
74 Roth around.
Spins him around. Caution's out.
Yes, as we get that replay pulled up here, thanks, guys. That was a great calling. It does look like the 42 got in the corner too hot, almost lost it, but gathered it back up, didn't hit anything, and then the 74 just got a little tap. We've seen it before tonight by the 003 of Kyle Charpentier, and that spins the 74 around, who was making some headway with those new tires. He probably just wore all the good off of them by now.
I believe this is going to set up for an 8-lap shootout, maybe 7, depending on how many laps we take under caution when they get them stacked back up. Ryan Hill again with the advantage. Ryan's got a heck of a jump on every restart. But the thing is, like we were talking about before, learn your driver. The 55 seems to take off immediately at the beginning of turn 4. If those guys can read that, they can stay with them and get a good finish at the end.
And look at Doug Roth. He is now in 3rd on the inside lane for this restart, so he's got a chance at winning this race if he can get to the back bumper. So yeah, he's also got to time this restart perfectly, not only Jacoby.
Definitely going to be exciting, no question about it. Looks to be on the 10-lap to go point at this moment. Getting the cars faded out. Looks like our lucky dog just got around, which would be the 54, I believe. Brandon Cruz Monsalves.
Monsivais.
Excuse me. Guys, sorry. Just some new names to me, trying to get them out there. That will not on the lead lap. Again, right now, 15 guys have a chance at this. It does sound kind of foolish for the 82 back in 15, but trust me, this is Martinsville. Anything can happen. He does have a shot.
Take that 94, Curtis Young. He's on the tail end of the lead lap, so he's going to move to the back of the field by the time they get to the restart. Anybody through the field, anybody of note? Ryan Matthews in 11th. He was your leader early in this race, but unfortunately, toward the halfway point, he lost the lead, and it's all gone downhill for that number 51 machine.
I'm hoping the 54 Brandon doesn't show up at my door for murdering his name. Sorry, man. I'm trying here. With that being said, though, boys, we're waiting for the double up here. It doesn't seem to be 2 to go yet. Let me see. Still down to 8 laps to go. Might be a 6-lap shootout.
Yes, I just brought Doug Roth into the broadcast booth. Doug, real quick, you're going to be restarting 3rd on the inside lane. What do you think your chances are of winning your first race?
I don't know. These guys up here are pretty tough. Jason and Ryan both been really strong. They both have really strong cars, and even Eric, that's starting beside me in 4th here. He's been strong all night too, so I got to worry about him. We'll see what the 43 HPS STP Ford can do. See if we can't like to get the victory, but you know what? If we can get in the top 5 here in the finish, we'd be happy with that.
Doug, I want to ask you one time before we go to the green flag. Can you time that 55's restart?
I'll be honest, I've been struggling with restarts all night, but you know what? This is the one that counts, so we'll see what we can do here.
All right, Doug, well, good luck on this restart.
Thanks, guys.
Doubling them up down the backstretch. 43 on the 55's bumper. The pace car pulls off again at the 55's discretion. We can go anytime. Hopefully people time it pretty good here. Watching the 55 like everybody else. He takes off out of 4. 43 follows suit. Goes for 2nd spot on the inside of the 1 of Jacoby. Down into turn 1, door to door. Behind the lead car of the 55. They tap the 42 and the 1 goes sideways. Caution is out. That might be the race.
It might be close. Looks like the caution is actually for Gary Sexton, the number 17 machine. That 17 involved in yet another accident here. This time, none of his own doing. Looks like the 014 of Jeff T. Martin just cooked it. Oh my gosh. What a late braking decision from that 014 and just gets into the back bumper of him and going into turn number 1.
I'm seeing that now. Definitely hot. And another thing at Martinsville, you got to keep your brakes warm. In the beginning, it does sound foolish, but they don't operate unless you warm up. A lot of guys will drag the brakes under caution to keep them warm. That may be the case here. He may not have touched the brake. He may be on the throttle too much, but he definitely went in there way too hot.
And we may, because this is 5 laps to go right now, we might get a restart here with maybe 1 lap to go.
I thought the last 6 would be interesting. I think the last 1 would be awesome, to be honest with you. Let's keep our fingers crossed, see what's going on with the field.
All right, update your top 10 for this restart. Ryan Hill, your leader. Doug Roth going after his first win as well. Tanner Talrico in 3rd. Eric Stanford in 4th. James Lehman from getting wrecked up to the 5th spot. Kyle Charpentier in the 6th spot. Mitchell Rees in 7th. Justin Faulkner, another one of those drivers, got spun out working his way back through the field. Colin Bowden in the number 20 machine in 9th. And Ryan Matthews in 10th.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, Gabe, I think you have a shot at some pepperoni and cheese here from Robert, because if Doug can time that start just right, if we get 1 to go, it's going to be a great battle up front.
Oh, now I don't want the 55 to win.
Well, he might be able to add some dough to that. FYI, gentlemen, we do have 1 car that got back on the lead lap. Looks to be, actually, no, I'm sorry. They just cycled through. It was 16 on the lead lap. Now it's 15 again. The last car, the 014 of Jeff T. Martin, who actually admitted to that fault. I think I heard over the radio there. He's the one that got in there a little bit hot and unfortunately spun the 17. He'll be the last car on the lead lap.
I think Gary Sexton was supposed to get, or maybe it might have been Curtis Young that was supposed to get that. He may have been involved in it, so that avoided the wave around for these drivers. But we're coming. If we get the 1 to go this time by, we will get a restart. We're just going to have to see.
Fingers are crossed. Kind of keep an eye out. Lap 199. Does it look? It looks like they might be doubling up here. No. Hang on.
Nope, lights are still on the top of the pace car.
That'll probably be the race, gentlemen.
That'll be it.
Congratulations to the 55 of Ryan A. Hill to hold all night long. Doug
and
Roth,
the drivers know it too.
Does he get half? I think you ought to give him half a handful and half a pepperoni for the guest, because he did a heck of a job staying up there in 2nd.
We're coming to the white flag this time by Ryan Hill. It is now all over. He's going to come to the white flag. 1 more lap to go for the 55 Phantom Armaments number 55 machine of Ryan Hill. Always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. But looks like he's going to get the victory lane here tonight.
A little bit more of an attaboy shout out to Tanner Talarico for a 3rd place finish. That'll put him up in the standings in the Domino's TYJ Top Shelf League. Great run tonight. Eric Stanford in the 4th place position. A fellow New Yorker here. And actually a heck of a nice guy. Great run tonight, Eric.
Coming into turn number 3 off of turn number 4. As I said, always the bridesmaid, but it looks like somebody popped the question to Ryan Hill coming across the start-finish line. Win number 1 on the 2017 season for the 55 machine.
Yes, Rich, if you will go, Ray Richard, if you'll go through the top 15 or 20, I'll get these drivers in for an interview.
Absolutely, Robert. Tonight in the 1st place position, holding off all night long, the 55 of Ryan A. Hill with the win. 2nd place, Doug Roth in the 43. Tanner Talarico in the 42. Eric Stanford in the 24 will take up the 4th place spot. The 01, James Lehan, will take up the 5th. 003 of Kyle Carpenter in the 6th place spot. 02 of Mitchell Reeves will finish 7th. 5 of Justin Faulkner, which was my pick earlier, will end up in the 8th place. 9th place will go to Jason Jacoby in the 1. The 74 of Nick Crawford will take home the 10th place. Doug Roth in the 43. Actually, excuse me, they kind of changed my list up.
Yeah, you got
that kind of
confused
me.
You had him off by 1.
But Brandon, whose name unfortunately I screw up, Cruz Montevas will finish in the 11th place position. Down in 12th, it looks to be Mike Franklin. Am I getting this correct here, Gary?
Ryan Hill was doing a burnout around the racetrack, and Doug Roth was coming around.
I'm reading this, and everybody's cycling through, so it kind of screws up my positions here. But that'll be your top 10 at least. I've got that part down.
11th is Brandon Cruz, Montsevice. Mike Franklin, 1 lap down. Gary Sexton, Jeff T. Martin, and Colin Bowden in your top 15, 2 laps down in that 15th spot. But I'm laughing so hard at the 55. He was doing a Denny Hamlin-style burnout backwards around the racetrack, and Doug Roth was coming around to celebrate his second place spot. Or excuse me, his wow, Doug Roth actually lost a lot of positions on that, but he was coming around the racetrack, and they ended up hitting head on. That's what I was laughing at.
Well, just know, even though you go, my goodness, I just saw the replay on that. With that being said, that is a Polish victory lap he was trying to call. And the reason they call it that was actually made famous by Alan Kwiecki back in the day when he won, I believe, one of his top 10 races. He did a backwards lap, and that's what he called it. So basically, congrats again to Ryan A. Hill to the top finish tonight in Domino's TYJ Top Shelf League.
I'll tell you what, we're going to throw it to Robert first. He's going to talk to your third-place driver, Eric Stanford, in that number 24 machine.
Eric, this is Robert, Gabe, and Ray Richer in the broadcast booth. Congratulations on your third-place finish. Eric, you did a good job tonight. How did you come away with the third-place finish there?
Well, we raced pretty steady all the race long. Had a little bump there about lap 160 when I think it was Jason. I don't know if he restarted in the second gear or what, but he spun a little bit and put us into the wall, but we fought back and came back and got a third place finish.
Well, congratulations. You definitely put that 24 car on the top 3 finishing charts. That's good for you. You've had a lot of good finishes this year so far. It's good to have you in the league. Who would you like to give some thanks to for tonight?
Well, my wife for dealing with me. She gets kind of annoyed when I race like this so much, but she'll get over it.
Yeah, you'll just have to share that $50,000 check for third. Oh, just kidding. No $50,000 check.
Where's my sign-up sheet for Domino's?
We do appreciate it, Eric. But make sure you take her out and treat her on the town this weekend, and hopefully she'll be tickled, or not tickled, she'll be very happy to know that you're making progress in your passion. Thanks again for being here, Eric.
Yep, thanks, sir. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, Ray, if you will interview our second place finisher, Tanner Talrico.
Mr. Tanner Talarico, second place finish in the 42 car this evening. How you doing, buddy? How you feeling?
Pretty wore out after that one.
So tell us how you got back up through the field to take a second place finish, bud.
Well, we got like 30 to go or so, and I had a lot of damage. I got hit in the left front pretty hard pretty early on, and I don't know if it knocked the toe out of it or what, but it was not wanting to turn through the center. So my crew chief, Tom Axum, made the call. He thought it'd be best. We came down pit road and took 4, and he was right. I honestly was against it at first. I thought track position was a lot more important than the tires, but we got to the bottom pretty quick and were able to slice and dice our way up towards the front. And I don't know if I had anything for Ryan if it would have stayed green or not, because he was pretty quick all day, but we definitely made the right call to take the 4 tires at the end.
If you would, one more time, run us through that last restart. It seemed like Hill had the advantage on the start, pulling away from everybody. What was your position in the whole thing?
Oh yeah, Ryan was solid on restarts all day. He really knew how to like rock it off the corner and come off the corner low. He could really get it hooked up, and he was so quick, and I was down on power a little bit, and it was hard for me to really get up to speed. Once I got up to speed and like everything settled out, it was really good. But the initial like restart, getting up through the gears was really tough, and it let him pull away pretty good.
Tanner, anybody you want to thank this evening?
Yeah, I want to thank Tom Axum for spotting and crewing for me all year. He's definitely helped me out and helped me grow as an iRacer. And I want to thank Fox Racing Products for coming on board for TYJ all season long, and all my partners over at Unleash Racing for being solid and being there for anything that I needed since the start of the season, and I'm sure they'll be there the rest of the year too. And
Great
TYJ for putting all this on.
Sorry about that, Tanner. Didn't mean to interrupt you there. Great run tonight. 42 in the second place spot. Brings it home just under, well, basically a bridesmaid.
Well, with that, we're going to go to Ryan Hill. For the first time in 2017, we can say this, your winner, the number 55 of Ryan Hill. How does it feel to finally be the bride?
Oh, God, I don't even know. It's such a relief, especially coming home. I mean, even though Martinsville's farther away than Richmond, but to come here, a small drive for our team, and just come here, and I thought we showed a lot today, and just come out here and do really well and actually win the race. So it's still lost for words, to be honest with you.
Ryan, you got it done, and really the key to your race win was those restarts. You talked to us a little bit, but, did you really think that you could have won this race solely on the restarts? You had a fast car. I mean, you were pulling away from Jason Jacoby, but your restarts were absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I had some inside talk that the 42 got tires, and obviously we stood up the whole race that tires mean everything. I mean, when I got spun, I took tires, I was coming back to the field. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I got from 16th to 9th before the next caution came out. But the restarts, I feel sorry if I hurt anybody, but I had to do what I had to do to get as big as a lead as I could to keep the car, because I knew on the long run, I was hurt. I don't do long runs very well at short tracks like this, so.
Ryan, you come away with the victory, and I mean, here at Martinsville, you said it's a home race for you. I gotta say, you can be proud of this win, but that car is a little bit beat up. You were doing your Polish victory lap, and Doug Roth came around, and you're not going to be able to race that car anytime soon.
I think we're going to get it ready for the next Martinsville race or Bristol because, I mean, you're just going to beat and bang as we saw this whole race. I mean, I think our teammate, the 20 car, Dylan, or Colin, I think his car is pretty destroyed. So we loaded that car up, and that one's heading home for probably the junkyard.
All right, Ryan, you get the victory here. Anybody you want to thank real quick?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank my friend Daniel. He's been watching every single stream because I kind of made him. But he finally, from what he told me, Robert said he finally won a pizza. So I'm going to make sure I get some of that pizza too. Also, I'd like to say thanks to everybody at Chevrolet, everybody at DBR, Colin, MD Design, Silco Disposal and Recycling, Phantom Armament. I also like to say that this week we were kind of racing with heavy hearts. Last week, a year ago, we lost Dylan. We didn't race on that day, so it's kind of a good off week for us. But it's still 1 year later when we lost him. It's still kind of good racing with heavy hearts. And also tomorrow, I have 59 people of my closest friends that I met during the police academy. 43 of them are graduating tomorrow at Virginia Beach. So I wish all of them the best of luck. Sorry I couldn't be there to join it with y'all. Maybe next time. But I wish best of luck to them. I'd like to thank Robert, Gabriel, Michael D'Amico, everybody at Martinsville. I don't even know who to thank anymore. Just everybody. Thank you for everybody for watching. I appreciate it.
Hey, Ray's
everybody.
Ray's up here too.
Yes, sir. Ray Richards in the booth, but
Richard, everybody.
yeah, on the phone right now, Ryan, we do have Daniel Hunter Cook from Virginia Beach, Virginia. He was the first person to pick you tonight to win the race. Daniel, real quick, how do you and Ryan know each other?
We kind of grew up together in school, and we're friends coming from there. And then we hang out all the time, go shooting together, and work on cars together. So we've known each other for a while.
Well, great. Congratulations. Hopefully you live close enough together that tomorrow, the next day, Sunday, whenever you give me a call for that free large 3-topping Domino's pizza that you just won tonight, you will have Ryan over, maybe some other guys, and each of you can have one slice apiece.
All right, yeah, he lives right down the road from me, and we will definitely be enjoying that.
Thanks a lot, Daniel. Like I said, just give me a call the next couple of days over the weekend whenever you want that. We'll get it all set up. Have a good night, Daniel. And Ryan, congratulations again.
Thank you, Robert.
Well, as we close out tonight's broadcast, I want to talk to Ray and Robert. Ray, final thoughts.
Well, looks like Ryan Hill had the beans tonight. Came home with a whole win, but half a car. That's the way Martinsville rolls, man. I'll tell you what. Great racing all the way around. Not a lot of cautions expected. I mean, we expected a lot more than this, I think, tonight. And I'll tell you what, everybody did a phenomenal job. Robert?
Yes, this was very fun to watch. I'm sure it was tough on the drivers. It's hot in those cars. The brakes get hot. The floorboards get hot. That was a great race. Good race to the end of the race. And I'm happy that Martinsville is behind us. And Gabe, thanks for being on board tonight. If you can close us down.
All right, we'll be on behalf of, a little bit of extra people to thank tonight. On behalf of me, Gabriel Wood, Robert McFarland, and Ray Richer for coming into the night to fill in for me because the helicopter wouldn't land. I want to thank Michael D'Amico for pressing the buttons, getting it, the picture you see to you tonight, and everybody at All Pro Broadcasting. On behalf of us, congratulations, Ryan Hill, and we will see you next week when we get back to the Xfinity Series.
You're watching All Pro Broadcasting with Freedom Train.